graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah!
Attention humans, I am Optimus Prime. You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Go to iTunes now and subscribe. For Android users, we are available on the Stitcher app for Google.
Shut the fuck up, GoBot.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Now, here's Chris.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Paul.
And actually, Paul and I are fellow Rochesterians, I guess would be
Rochesterians, yes.
And, I actually ran into Paul last year at RockCon, which is a Rochester comic book, anime, sci-fi convention. And we had, hung out for a little while, and I was chatting his ear off, and, it was, nice to finally meet, actually, someone that was another podcaster from Rochester.
Yes, it is good to do that.
And so, we've been going back and forth online and stuff like that. So, much in the spirit of the very first episode of Two Strangers One Podcast with my old co-host Kristen, who was a total stranger when she came into my house. Our very first episode was, the first time she ever came to my house, and that was over a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So, keeping in the spirit of Two Strangers One Podcast, this is the first time we've hung out, if you want to call it that. I mean,
yes, it is.
You literally came to my house, maybe a half an hour ago. We kind of just, and actually, really, the first half an hour was just waiting for my goddamn computer, waiting for my computer to turn on and load up and get all the recording programs up and running. And here we are. It's pretty awesome. So you do a show where you Skype into. Yours is a little more. Mine. All my co-hosts have been in Rochester, or a few people calling in from California. Yours is the Toonami Faithful.
Toonami Faithful Podcast, yes.
And you now. I'll be honest with you. I've only heard a couple of episodes. So I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna try and act like an expert. How did you guys find each other?
Well, it's kind of much like how I would have to say it's the same way that you and your co-host kind of met. But it was online. I met this guy by the name of Jose Argumento.
Uh-huh.
And he basically me and him had gone back and forth about, I was telling him because he's a video editor, so I wanted him to do some video stuff for my website, which I'll talk about in a minute.
Uh-huh.
But he said to me, he's like, I'm really busy with my job. I can't do a video, but I had this idea for you. Cause, I had said to him, I was like, I really want to do some kind of weekly thing about Toonami, just promoting it just to get people even more into Toonami. Mm-hmm. And I do think that it has helped, hopefully. At least the ratings are showing that Toonami's doing good right now. Mm-hmm. So, but he's like, hey, so why don't we record something tonight? And I'm like, okay. And I deemed the title of that first podcast The Experiment. And everybody's like, what's The Experiment? Because I didn't really say on Twitter or Facebook, I didn't really specify what it was we were doing. I was just like, we're trying an experiment. Mm-hmm. Stay tuned. And they're like, okay. All right. And then, we put out the first podcast, and it just turned into this huge thing that, has just been incredible. I'm speechless sometimes about what it is, I'm sure you've gotten that success with this show.
Well, yeah, because basically, I do, because I am a subscriber, and I'll be honest with you, when I first heard the concept, I'm like, okay, the Toonami Faithful, okay, you got Toonami, which, luckily still exists today, it went away for a while and came back. And in my mind, I'll be honest with you, in my mind, my first impression is who is this show for? And trust me, I'm a nerd. We're sitting in the middle of my quote unquote office, which is a nerd central area. But I was like, wow, I didn't realize that how big Toonami was to people and how much it affected them, and people are still in love. And it really, and then I see that you guys, you put out pretty much a consistent show, weekly. it really, it's one of those things where you didn't realize it had such a following until you realize the following that it has, until, people start coming out and say, yeah, I remember, these shows. I remember the anime, and I remember, and it just like, and I'll be honest with you, like, I like Toonami. I'm not a big anime person. I mean, for someone that's such a nerd,
I can see your wall right here. So
I'm more of a. I'm more of, and it's not the. It's just a. I just never got into anime. All my quote unquote nerdy friends are into anime. I'm like the odd man out. You know? And so, I mean, is that what am I? I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Don't do drugs, people. That being said, because, you guys got to interview, the one, Steve Bloom. Voice actor.
There's a funny story about that, though.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to know about that. I'd been emailing him, like, a couple times, I gotta remember what the first email was, but, like, I basically said to him, I emailed him off his website. I'm like, I'm looking to do, interview with you and, try to do, get you on, because a lot of people have been like, yeah, you gotta get Steve on, because he's the voice of Tom, for people that don't know. And it, people were just like, it would be just like almost on a daily basis. Me and Jose wanted to like pull our hair out sometimes. We're just like, please stop. Just please stop. We'll get him when we can. It was to the point where we're like on the podcast, by the way, we're trying to get Steve. Stop annoying us. So, we did get Jason DeMarco. We've actually had him on a couple times. He's one of the creators of Toonami. Mm-hmm. And, I think doing some of those kind of interviews, after a while finally kind of Steve was kind of like, maybe I need to do this podcast kind of thing. But what happened was, I'd kind of given up because, Steve's a very busy man. He does a lot of conventions. He's one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet. Mm-hmm. He will do anything for you if he can, So one of my webmasters for my website's like, hey, I found his agent's number. I'm like, was it his number? No, it was his email. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want to. Nah, fuck it, I'm using it. So I'm just like, I emailed him. He's like, you persistent bastard, was the email. I remember. He's like, you persistent bastard. All right. How about we do, I think it was the day before Thanksgiving, it was the day before Thanksgiving. Uh-huh. And I emailed everybody. I'm like, you need to come on. And they're like, why? They're like, Steve's going to be on the show. They're like, why are you fucking with us? I'm like, no, Steve's going to be on the show. Mm-hmm. And we had the show with Steve, and, it was the best thing one of the best things I've ever done, to be honest with you, And it's, because Steve, he's one of those guys where when you take a look at his IMDb page, you see how much, this guy he won the Guinness World Record for the most voiceovers, I believe. I believe that's the title. I could be wrong. Somebody will correct me and say, no, Paul, this is what it is, but whatever. Uh-huh. But he was in the Guinness World Records for doing like all these voices. He did Wolverine on Wolverine and the X-Men. Mm-hmm. He does, oh god. What is I'm trying to think. It's got like the younger, like I can't think of what the name of it is right now. Like all the young Marvel heroes, like Dr. Doom's in it.
Superhero Squad.
Superhero Squad, yeah, that one. He does that one. So he's in the Marvel realm, and actually, it's kind of funny when I listen to hear him like as Wolverine. I'm like, maybe we should have had him a long time ago. And I'm just sitting there going, there could be a fight between him and Hugh Jackman. This might be interesting, but
yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith, and he has a podcast called Fat Man on Batman.
Yes,
and he had on Kevin Conroy, who's been the voice of the animated series. Oh God,
I would
Batman.
love to have him. Yes,
and Kevin Conroy, and it's one of those deals where he's been Batman for so long that more than anyone who's ever been in the movies, more than anyone, Adam West is the only one that has Kevin Conroy beat when it comes to how long he's been Batman, but Steve Bloom, it's one of those deals where, like, right now, I don't think he's being appreciated. Not that he's not being appreciated, because, if he's working, he's being appreciated. But,
right.
It's going to be one of those deals where he's going to be somewhere down the line, like Frank Welker or, Peter Cullen or,
Right,
he's going to be recognized.
He actually does the voice of Starscream on the new Transformers series.
Oh, the Transformers Prime.
Yeah. And I believe it's Transformers Prime Beasts something. now. I can't think of what it is now.
Isn't it? Oh, and I've seen the toys in the store.
Yeah,
Is it Beastmasters? No,
Something like that. I don't want to say Beast Wars because then I'll get shot because it's not Beast Wars. But
now I'll be honest. If you got, Peter Cullen has to be
God.
That's the holy grail right there. If you guys got Peter Cullen on the show, and let me tell you, that'd be the one where I would beg you, please let me. I'll just sit in on the phone call. I don't even want to have. I won't even talk to him. Peter Cullen would be. I've
heard, like, I haven't really even. I don't think I've really thought about, because I've been trying to keep, because, well, actually he is Toonami. I mean, let's not like screw anything up here. I mean, he was like the promo guy for Toonami, back in the day when Cartoon Network just went, here, take money. Yeah. Here, Toonami, just take money. Here you go. I mean, Jason even talked about that. It was so funny because, like, now it's like, you know, I'm sure, like, if they had the money, they would be like, come here, Peter. But yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, Peter is really hard to get. Like, the last thing that I heard, like, for example, was, first of all, he's retired apparently, and the only series he does is Transformers Prime. Which Steve and all those guys, all those younger guys, in comparison to Peter, just gush on Twitter all the time about it. Like, oh my god! And so, you know, I really haven't pursued it. I would like to, maybe, when I actually have some time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying is that would be, you know, because Optimus Prime, and I've said this before, and people hear it in other episodes, like, my three heroes growing up were, like, you know, my dad, Optimus Prime, and Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan, definitely.
And, you know, I mean, that voice, and actually, and I haven't put out the episode yet, and just to make sure, you know, people, for the, you know, the few people that don't know what the hell we're talking about, Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime, the original series, Generation 1, you know, the one person that actually came back for the Michael Bay movies.
Right, yeah.
You know, that, you know, he was so iconic as the voice that, you know, had they not had Peter Cullen in it, the movie would have been more of, and I don't want to say that, you know, I know people bash the movies, and rightfully so. You know, I'm a diehard Transformers fan. The movies weren't that great for me, but just to hear, I mean, to see like a beautifully rendered CGI Optimus Prime. Okay, it's not the Optimus Prime I grew up with, but to hear that voice, you know,
yeah,
like, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. You know, like,
right?
Oh my God, you know, and it's. I do have to say that, you know, that voice coming out of that face, even though I'm used to Optimus Prime not having a mouth, that being said, it's you know, it's ground shaking, it's ground breaking, you know,
right. And,
you know, if there was ever a time I could get Peter, you know, I mean, not that I would, you know, and I had this conversation with George Christic and Jody Schaefer, two of the creators of Megas XLR,
yeah.
And you know, both of them basically said the same thing, where, you know, you put a show together, obviously being fanboys, and then, you know, when you have the pull to get Peter Cullen and Frank Welker in the same you know, studio, and to record, you know, pretty much basically doing the voices of Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, calling them, you know, Avenger or whatever the heck the characters' names are on Megas XLR. And it's just like, my head would explode. I would just be, you know, if I can. And actually, I went on Fiverr.com, you know, every now and then I switch up the intros to the show, and I got a guy who did Optimus Prime in person, and, you know, he's like, you're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast, you know, transform and roll out. And I would just love, oh my awesome. God. But if I could get, like, you know, real, but of course, you know, and it's not to take anything away from him. I mean, the guy's doing real professional, you know what I'm saying? He's busy. He's a busy man, you know, it's not like, it's not like, I mean, you say he's retired, but I guess he's retired more just because the man needs time with his family. I mean.
Well, yeah. And the one story that I heard about him was, there's this Transformer convention. I can't think of where it is. It might be BotCon. Where pretty much they wanted him badly. They're like, we will pay whatever you want. Mm-hmm. We just want you here. Mm-hmm. So, and apparently Peter doesn't like to do cons, apparently. That's what I've heard. I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that. So they kept pestering him enough where he's like, okay, I'm just going to throw this number out. If you can pay it, I'll come. Mm-hmm. And they actually gave it to him, and he had to go. And he was like, he didn't like it at first, but apparently, like, it was a fun experience. But you know, a lot of them were like, he apparently, like, he just doesn't like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, it would be, I could see how, you know, during a convention, you're sitting in a room, you know, a bunch of people. It is sensory overload sometimes.
Oh,
like
yeah.
There's a lot of noise and people and you know, if it's not really your thing, because I mean, you know, being a voice actor, you know, you work in a nice quiet studio. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and
Oh, yeah.
I can only imagine. You know, then you got to deal with all these people, and you got to keep the, you know, the Purell right on the side because you know everyone's shaking your hand. And, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, at my point in this career, I'd kill to have a room full of people happy to see me.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They're on purpose to see me. But you know, I could see, you know, how it could be a little overwhelming, you know, especially if you're an older guy, you know, I don't got time for this.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the voice actors now, like, especially with the anime, I mean, you know, not only are you recognized and you want people, you know, you want to go out there and greet your fans and say, hey, thank you, you know, thank you for thanking me and, you know, for them to thank you and everything like that. But I think it's also, you know, these guys get paid good money to go to these cons too, you know? And,
Yeah.
You know, unlike Peter, where Peter was all over the place and he probably got paid tons and tons of money for all the stuff he did, you know, like somebody like Steve Bloom, for example, you know, you got to go to a cons and you got to make the money, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure San Diego Comic-Con, I know he was there. Oh. Steve Bloom was. I would love to go to that. But you know, he probably got paid a lot of money to do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, I would, and it's funny that, you know, you go to, when you hear about the convention and, you know, these people, 150,000 people go, but, you know, there are tons of people who don't get to go, you know, like, guys like us or whatever, like, you know, I'd do anything to go, you know, what old lady do I have to push down a flight of stairs to get to Comic-Con? But it's, you know, I would love to go, you know, and just to see. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, this past year, I'm pretty sure I would have had fun, but there was really nothing this year, you know, and just being devil's advocate here, there was nothing this year that really, you know, shook. I mean, okay, besides the Batman Superman movie, that's
that's groundbreaking right there.
That was the one thing, but obviously no one was expecting that, you know, that was.
I kind of predicted it, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they kind of started hinting at it when remember, I Am Legend? They had up on the billboard there, they had
the Batman Superman movie, yeah.
2015, I think it was, which is ironic. Because it is it's going to be 2015.
And also in the Man of Steel having the Wayne Tech satellite. There was a satellite that said Wayne Tech on it. So I mean, I guess of course you could have just written that off as saying, oh, they're just trying to show that the universes are together, you know,
right.
You know, they're in the same universe, but I mean that wasn't like a big giant green flag like, hey, there's going to be a Superman Batman movie. You know, it's just kind of, you know, because I mean they've mentioned, I mean in older Batman movies, you know, Alfred tells Batman, you know, you're not Superman, you know. So I mean, you know, there always were little nods to the other universes or the other franchises. But you know, other than that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have had a blast going, I'm pretty sure, but there was like nothing this year that really like, oh my god, I would have had, I mean, I want to go, but I also want to go on a year that's like, you know, I want to go see like, you know, like I guess in the future, like what would be like eventually the Avengers 2 panel or, you know, or just anything. I mean, Avengers is kind of like, that's kind of like my new, you know, I basically, long story short, I mean, and I've seen the movies already several times.
Yeah.
And recently, you know, I moved recently and with my new roommate, we had watched, and now she, you know, she's a country girl, but she's, you know, girly girl, you know what I'm saying? She doesn't watch these superhero movies, but she likes Thor. You know, she likes Chris Hemsworth. She thinks he's the
I wonder
only.
why.
And so, you know, we had a conversation and she's like, okay, you know, you always talk about the Avengers, let's watch it. So, watching it, like, sitting down with another person who was new to the franchises, no preconceptions, you know, watching it again, and then right after, it was a dual feature that night, right after watching Thor, you know, and I, like, my fandom doubly increased. I'm like, Jesus, and I'll be honest with you, like, Thor and Captain America were okay. Yeah. After watching the Avengers, I kind of like, I have a new
respect for them.
Damn, these people really do have it planned out. You know, in a The Terrorist Act?
You got to stay off those drugs, buddy.
Yeah. Whatever, the blue cube, the cosmic cube.
Yeah.
Seeing that basically all these movies, well, then it's weird because then you watch Iron Man 2 and yeah, okay, they introduced Black Widow and stuff like that, but like, I wish Iron Man 2 kind of like weaved a little bit more instead of just having Black Widow and S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
But I mean, and I hope and I pray, because I am, if you could tell from the stuff I have in mind, yeah, I like Marvel. I'm more of a DC fanboy. I like Marvel. I think Marvel makes great movies. But when it comes to comics, I'm a DC guy.
Yeah.
I'm totally a DC guy. And nothing against Marvel. It's just Marvel, it's hard for me to wrap my head around all their stuff. It's all over the place. And so I'm praying, please, guys, take a cue from the Marvel Universe. I hope, Man of Steel and Man of Steel 2, Batman versus Superman, or whatever the hell it's called. I hope that they kind of keep it where... Because I liked Man of Steel, but... I hope when, and it's the same thing with the original or the other, well, no, just the original Batman trilogy, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, where I wasn't a big fan of Batman Begins, but after The Dark Knight, then I watched Batman Begins again, and I was like, oh, okay, I get, it starts, it isn't what you expected, but then when you watch them, when you see that it's part of a bigger picture, you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Well, speaking of Batman, with Batman was obviously on Toonami too. Mm-hmm. So was Superman at one point.
Great show. I
love that show. If we could get that back from the hub, I would love that. But Batman Beyond. Well, let's not get into that.
Oh, you didn't like Batman Beyond?
No, I loved Batman Beyond.
Okay.
I was just I just get annoyed because Hub owns all those rights now, so it's kind of like we can't just be like, come to Toonami. Come to Toonami. No, can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've always been talking about is if they're gonna do, because you're talking about a Justice League movie, just like the Avengers. Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, the natural progression for me would have been okay, yeah, we need to establish all the other original guys from the Justice League, but you need to do Batman versus Superman first. You're not going to get to Justice League if you don't do Batman versus Superman. I was telling people about this before the announcement too. I'm like, I'm going to tell you that at some point this is where they're leaning, because there's come on, you got Christopher Nolan he's
executive
producer, and I laugh at that because I'm like, damn well that he's in on that somehow. And that's why a lot of people are like, we need to have Christian Bale back, and I would love to have him back, but we were having this discussion at work the other day where either way it's kind of is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? If you put somebody new in, you're gonna get fucked. If you don't, you're gonna get fucked. You know what I mean? It's kind of really bad in that kind of perspective.
Yeah, and don't be wrong, I am a big Christian Bale fan, but I understand if they have to bring in someone new, because if you're going to go with the franchise, and I have nothing against Christian Bale, you kind of want a young guy in there, and grab it. There are a million quote unquote actors out there. Get someone young,
right?
Make someone a star,
and they already set it up to where that one guy at the end is, they pretty much said, okay, well, he's going to be Batman pretty much. Or, that could be Nightwing. We don't know, what.
Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Spoilers.
So, I mean, I don't know. It to me, it's kind of because there has been some times where Batman, obviously hasn't been Bruce Wayne. But, can you really do that without Bruce Wayne in a Batman versus Superman?
Yeah, I don't think
what I
mean? You could get away with that in comics, because
I don't know if you can get away with it in that kind of
fans.
movie.
Yeah, you couldn't bring it to the general public and go, oh, okay, here's Batman, but it's not Batman. And they're like, what? Yeah,
right.
He's a cop, and oh no. But I would, like I said, I would totally understand if they went with a new actor, because all these people they're pumping out all these names of all these established actors, and John Hamm from Mad Men, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, would John Hamm, in a one shot or whatever, be a great Batman? Probably, because he's a pretty boy and he's a great actor. But you got to get somebody young. You got to, I'm sorry,
right.
you have to go for the 27, 28-year-old guy.
You got to get somebody that
Batman.
matches this Superman. Is basically what you got to do. I mean, again, I wouldn't mind if they did Christian Bale again, just because he's the established Batman at the moment, and plus. I like that darker version of Batman. That's the way Batman to me always felt like he should be. Like when the Batman animated series was original, I think it's just season 1, where it was just completely dark. Now, I didn't like the whole, we're back in like the 40s or 50s kind of deal, with all the cars and everything. But and that's part of the reason why I like the Batman now is because it's like more of a modern Batman. And that's what I like. I like the superheroes to be more like in a modern time, not like. Okay, you're in the 40s. What do I care about the 40s?
Yeah, retro. It's retro and it's futuristic at the same time,
and it didn't really make sense too either because like they actually had to forward Batman kind of a little bit too. If you didn't notice in the animated series, because like Superman was kind of like more. It seemed like Superman was kind of like more in our time, and then like it's just like. It doesn't make any sense.
It's like we have blimps, but then we also have cell phones. And
I know. It's like wait a minute,
holograph phones and stuff like that, where you can see the person's whole head or going around. So I mean, I dug it. I didn't really have a problem with that part, but I get. I mean, I do. I mean, I love the newer Batman trilogy. And I'm not wearing hockey pads. The voice though, the voice kind of kills me.
It was. It's funny you talk about Batman Begins because I always found for a while, and then after I actually watched it, it kind of actually made sense. Like his voice would change, and I would laugh at that. I'm like, okay, did you guys do that on purpose, or did you do that, to screw it, just because whatever? But it made sense because like the progression of his voice actually made what his voice was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not wearing hockey pads. You prove to these people that they're decent or whatever. And it was just a little too much. I understand you have to disguise your voice. In this world, they would someone would say, oh, well, how come someone doesn't just have a voice recognition program? And
exactly,
that's why he's making his voice sound different, or he's trying to be intimidating, but and I get, but is this really intimidating? It's like, it's not too, it's, I wish he could have went a little different with it. I mean, I can understand, Batman, you're supposed to scare people. You're making a common street thug shit his pants because,
exactly.
You're a crazy person in a suit. You didn't have, I don't know. I don't know where he could have gone with it, but it's just, it sounds silly when you talk like this, and, I don't know. It just.
Somebody could have figured out he was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, my thing is, and as much as I'm a diehard Batman fan, why doesn't someone shoot him in the mouth? Why hasn't there been, or at least an attempt, like, okay, then give us the nonsense like, oh, he has a special sonar on his suit that detects the sound of a gun blast and puts a shield, an invisible shield or electronically powered shield over the mouth hole or whatever, or something like that. Because I would think if I was a criminal and in this quote unquote realistic Batman universe, someone who's a sharpshooter, shoot him in the mouth. That's like the one part. I mean, of course you could shoot him in the eye, but I mean the eye's a little obscured with all the, shoot the guy in the fucking mouth. I mean, I don't know why that hasn't been addressed yet.
I think they kind of addressed that in Batman Beyond, but there again, that's not the original Batman. So.
Yeah, I would know, but I'm talking about in these movies. I mean, I would love to have seen just one, reference, even because they had. I'm pretty sure you've seen the. I forgot exactly what was it. Just called The Dark Knight or Gotham Knights, where it was a bunch of animated shorts before Batman. It was before The Dark Knight, and it was kind of like.
I don't think I've seen that. No.
Yeah, I believe it was called Gotham. I believe it was called Gotham Knights, and it was kind of like the way Animatrix came out, where it was a bunch of different stories, different directors. Most of them were actually anime style. And it was different stories that all related to the Dark Knight. Some of them were kind of carrying over from Batman Begins to the Dark Knight. And there was one where they did explain that if you shoot at him, he has, because he's been against, he's against bullets because his parents were killed by bullets, and that's what it was. Okay, in the movie he has a thing that detects sonically the explosion of a bullet. And then brings up a force field around him. But then it deflects off him, but then it deflected off him and kills somebody else. But at least, have something that, at least explains the mouth. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, and because there's a whole story also, the one big one that I liked is there was one where he gets attacked by like dogs and Rottweilers, and then when you watch the beginning of Batman Begins, the Russian mafioso guy, he has Rottweilers with him, the hungry dogs.
Wasn't that in the first? I think that was in the first.
It was like the first couple minutes of Dark Knight.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I need to get dogs off of me.
Yeah, and so they explained, they kind of touched on that in Gotham Knights, which
Right.
which was a brilliant idea, and I wish they should do that with more.
I don't know if I like the suit after Batman Begins. I don't know. I mean, it made sense, but then I was like,
yeah. Well, it's like, the motorcycle helmet with ridges, but then, yeah, I mean, then when you have ridges, then you have places that someone could stick a knife in, obviously, after Dark Knight Rises. But, God, I sound like a nerd. And, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. Pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. So basically, we were just talking about all types of things, Batman, Superman. I mean, I took a couple of notes
about Toonami.
All about Toonami, yeah. Well, yeah, because Batman and Superman were on the Toonami.
World's Strongest, that movie. Where that was officially like the first Batman versus Superman kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember that, the animated one where it was Batman versus Superman and it was Lex Luthor and the Joker.
I'll be honest with you, that was a movie?
Yeah, it was a movie. Basically what happened was, I guess, I don't know if it was an hour to an hour and a half long. It was where, basically Bruce Wayne came to Metropolis because he was doing business with Lex Luthor, and then all of a sudden...
It sounds so familiar. It really does. I might have seen it, I just didn't know it's called World's Strongest.
Yeah, it's called World's Strongest. It's, for those people that haven't seen it, it's a pretty good animated film. It's basically the same animation as like the series. They just brought them together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I mean, I know there's been a lot of the DC movies that have been coming out, like,
right? Yeah.
Doom, and the newest one was a Flashpoint, the Flashpoint Paradox. I haven't seen that one, but I did see Doom. I did see, was this Superman? What the hell is the Superman one? I mean, there's one.
Well, there's the Dark Knight ones, actually.
There was the Dark Knight ones. Yeah, those were fantastic. And so I've been, so I do want to see the Flashpoint Paradox. That's like the new one.
Yeah.
But I think I've pretty, Batman Year One, but then again, I also read the trade paperback. So it is kind of weird, like when you, oddly enough, I never read the Dark Knight. I never read the Dark Knight.
No,
comics.
I never read those either, but I actually think that right there is what Batman should have been like. Like, I've always been like, for example, to switch to like kind of Marvel, like, remember in the Daredevil movie where, like, in the first scene he kills somebody?
Yeah.
I was like, that's okay, I'm interested. Let's go. Let's go. I'm on board with Daredevil. And everybody says to me, "Oh, I hate Daredevil." I'm like, dude, I
liked it.
I was like, I love that movie. I was like, he kills somebody in the first scene. How can you go wrong with this movie? They're like, no. And I'm like, they're going to remake it anyway, so shut up. All right? But like that's always how I pictured Batman. Like Batman was just like the tough guy. Like I know he doesn't kill people, but like he goes in just like there'd be like 50 people. He whoops all 50 people's ass and then goes up to the boss and goes, "So what's going on? What you doing? Want to fight or you want to just like lay on the ground? I'll handcuff you."
I said, I want the movies. I would want the movies to be a little more bloodier, a little more violent. Because Batman. Okay, Batman doesn't kill people, but he'll put you in the fucking hospital.
He'll put you in the fucking hospital.
I want to see. I want to see his knuckles covered in blood.
He kind of put Two-Face in the hospital, but
yeah,
that was unintentional. But yeah,
and what's his name? The actor that played Two-Face. He was fantastic.
I can't think of his name.
Shoot. Pretty boy, but he was in a couple other good movies. And
I can't. Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, yes. Yeah. Thank you for smoking.
That came off the top of my head. Yes.
And my ex-wife, we went to go see. He did a movie called No Reservations with Catherine Zeta-Jones, where they're both chefs. Because my ex-wife was a chef.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And,
I never saw the movie, but I know what you're talking about.
And then he does. There's a really twisted movie called. Is this the name of the movie? Don't call me offended. Called Towelhead. Where he plays, there's a girl who is, she's of Arab descent and she's living in the suburbs, and he's kind of like the creepy next door guy because she's like in her early teens.
Yeah.
And she's developing into a woman, and he's kind of like the guy that kind of takes advantage of her. Yeah. And, and it's just, it's funny because, I'm quick to go, he's a pretty boy or whatever, but, he's a great actor. And, those three movies alone, I know it sounds funny, No Reservations, a chick flick, Batman, and then another movie where he basically plays a pedophile, but he's a good actor, and he was an excellent choice for Harvey Dent.
Oh, yeah, he was definitely an excellent choice for that. So was Heath Ledger for Joker. he took that, he killed himself because of it, but, obviously he did it, he probably did, I can't say he did a better job than Jack Nicholson, because Jack Nicholson obviously did a different Joker.
Yeah. This was like a real. I don't want to say realistic because no one. I don't think anyone could be as planning ahead as the Joker for a guy who's supposed to be an agent of chaos.
Right. But like that was how I pictured the Joker. Like he almost seemed like in the first Batman that was ever made. Like he almost felt like he was like watered down, kind of. Like, I don't want to say watered down, but like he almost seemed like he was a little bit watered down to like what I would have expected Joker to be. Because you're talking about this sick, sadistic guy that wants to make you laugh. That sounds a little sadistic to me. You should be a little bit crazier than that. So when he did that whole thing where he's like, why so serious, and then cuts him, I was like, that's fucking Joker. I'm like, that's
make
Joker
this
right
pencil
there.
Disappear.
Ta-da! Ta-da! And I was like, yes.
It's once again, me being a hater when Joker, like when I heard Heath Ledger, I never saw The Patriot at the time. I've seen it since.
Yeah.
I knew him as the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You, which is like
that's where everybody pictures him from.
The girls know him from, and
yeah.
And at first I was like, oh god, this is gonna be a fucking travesty. You know what I'm saying? They're putting this pretty motherfucker in a role that's supposed to be intense.
Yeah.
And and wouldn't you know, the guy fucking blows my mind, and I feel, it's a tragedy, whatever he did, and, he probably thought he was invincible and overdosed or whatever. I don't think it was an intentional, painful overdose. I just think he thought he was young. He thought he was young. He thought he was immortal. Took too much.
He just took too much and he killed himself.
Or the bodies that just don't recover from that kind of, drug use. You're not going to live forever.
Nope.
But that was, it's a tragedy. That was, in my opinion, his best performance. I know I have a lot of friends that love The Patriot, and he was good in The Patriot, but,
I'm trying to think what the name of the other movie is. A Knight's Tale? Have you ever seen that one?
Oh, I love Knight's Tale. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
That one was one of his really good movies. I show people, they're sitting there like, you pansy, and then they watch it and they're like, oh, this was actually a good movie. I'm like, who's the pansy now? Exactly.
Yeah, I forgot I almost forgot about that. And I liked, because it didn't take itself too seriously.
No.
It was an action movie, but it was kind of like, they kind of had like a lot of modern stuff along with, friggin' jousting knights for, I was, once again, brilliant idea. I know this is going to sound really way off base for a show that we're talking about Batman and Superman, but I want to see The Great Gatsby, because I heard it's kind of like the same deal where they take,
I've heard both angles. I've heard it was okay, but then I've also heard that it was don't waste your money.
Oh,
to go
okay.
see it.
Oh no,
So,
I'll wait till it comes out on Netflix or something.
yeah,
like that,
I would probably do that.
But I mean, I like the
Just
idea when you take something like you take the Roaring Twenties and then you kind of like merge it with modern
times,
times and stuff like that. And so I mean, once again, I'm not a big fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'll But that being said, Star Wars, The Clone Wars. We were talking before we started the show.
Yes. Oh yes.
Coming back to Toonami.
Yes, it is.
And
well, it's not coming back to Toonami, but let's be honest. It probably would have been a Toonami show had Toonami been on. But
okay. So maybe all right. So
what you're thinking about is the mini series. If you remember that mini series that was on there, it was only like altogether. I think it was only like maybe 5 minutes altogether. But it was to set up for the third episode 3.
You're talking about the ones that were like the Brandon Tartakovsky, whatever the heck.
Yeah.
That would kind of look like Samurai Jack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those
were on Toonami.
Those were on Toonami.
Yeah.
Oh, so the CGI animated.
It never made it to Toonami because it started out on Cartoon Network, and I think it started not too long after Toonami had ended. Actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure because Toonami ended in 2008. I'm not sure when.
But isn't it officially back? Or
it is officially back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
you lost me.
Okay. So let's have that discussion. There are the hardcore Toonami fans out there that I, with my website ToonamiFaithful.com, get that come to me and go, Toonami sucks because it's not on during the weekdays. Well, this isn't Toonami on Cartoon Network. This is Toonami on Adult Swim. Mm-hmm. So, first of all, you're not going to get it on the weekdays. Second of all, you would have to destroy Family Guy, American Dad, Robot Chicken. Well, we'll just use those 3 just for the hell of it.
and Family Guy that, like, pretty much gave us Adult Swim. Like, if it wasn't for... Adult Swim brought back Family Guy, but Family Guy is the powerhouse. And even with all the original shows, Family Guy will always be the powerhouse that gets the highest ratings.
Which, by the way, side note, I want Futurama back on Adult Swim when it ends. Thank you. But anyways, so, like, people, like, there's these hardcore Toonami fans out there that want it to be what it was back in the day. They want the Gundam Wing. I'm probably going to say series that you don't even know what I'm talking about. Gundam Wing. Big O's kind of on there now with Season 2. It's not... They don't have rights to Season 1 because of... There's a whole situation with Bandai. I could probably bore you with that for an hour, but... they want to see all these, like, old shows, and they get, like, really... like It's funny to see these guys get worked up, because they're, like... It's almost like they want to come through the computer and punch you, and I'm like, first of all, I'm not Toonami. Second of all, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, we have Toonami back. If they can get it, they're going to get it. Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
So, like, getting back to the whole Clone Wars things, last Wednesday they had a Q&A, free plug for them, Toonami.tumblr, it's Toonami.tumblr.com. That's their, kind of like their official site. Mm-hmm. It's not really their official site, but it's where they talk most of the time. Mm-hmm. They'll put up all the promos and everything that they have. But it was really funny, like, to see, like, all these people hating on Star Wars. Like, the minute they said Star Wars, it was just, like, this wave of hate coming at it. I'm like, wait a minute. So we went from you guys wanting the Cartoon Network version of Toonami to, no, Clone Wars doesn't belong on Toonami. Well... It would have been a Toonami show, and it would have been on the Cartoon Network version. So, does it make a difference if it's on the Adult Swim version? I'm like, it doesn't really. Mm-hmm. I mean, do we have to look at all the episodes of when Darth Maul's on there? I mean, I don't know if I would let my kid watch it.
Yeah, it is. It gets pretty dark.
And it starts to get really...
Saturday morning cartoon. Literally a Saturday morning cartoon. But I'll let you get into that in a second.
Oh, God.
Or save that for another time.
We'll save that for another time, because I could rant on that for a while.
But it is literally a Saturday morning cartoon.
It is. Well, see, they all started out like Thundercats.
Oh, no, they were Friday nights. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was Friday nights. It was Thundercats, Batman Brave and the Bold. I thought that was a hilarious series. Mm-hmm.
But wasn't it, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, it was shown Friday nights, but the next Saturday, literally like the next morning, it was kind of like either broadcast from the week before or something like that.
I think what happened was it was on Friday nights, and then all of a sudden they started to put some of these shows in the morning, like DC Nation, for example. They started to transition them into the morning, and then all of a sudden they just came up with the stupid idea, let's just put them on Saturday mornings where these kids are going to get scared shitless and, whatever. And I'm like, because it basically what that did was it killed Thundercats. They already at that point had killed Symbiotic Titan, which I thought was stupid. I mean, especially after watching it again, it was completely and utterly stupid. They killed Generator X, even though that probably would never make it onto this Toonami. They killed Batman Beyond, or not Batman Beyond, Batman Brave and the Bold. They killed that. So it was kind of like, what was the point of you taking these series and transitioning them into Saturday mornings? I mean, I understand what they were trying to do, but what was your point? There was no point.
Yeah.
So it pissed me off when they did that to Clone Wars, because then I couldn't watch it. I'm not going to be up at that time unless my kid's there. And even at that point, he's probably going to watch SpongeBob or something else. So when I heard this news, first of all, I predicted this. I knew it was coming. Because, they'd taken Thundercats and they'd taken Symbiotic Titan and went, just give that to us. Just give that to us. You're not doing anything with that. Just give that to us. And, side note, sad part about that was they just lost the rights to Thundercats, so they can't play that anymore, which sucks. This newer version was such a good one, because I was a fan of the original one, and this one I thought did a very good job of doing a more modern, not like modern, but more like of a different side of this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is a different day and age. It's not,
Yeah, and I thought it did a really good job, and I would love to have a season 2 of that. But, like with Clone Wars, it makes sense. Like, first of all, in October, the DVD and the Blu-ray's coming out. So if Disney's all about money. So if they're going to sit there and go, they're not going to sit there and go, no, you can't play the series. I'm sorry. You're just one of the most popular things out there right now. But no, you can't play that. No. Yeah, okay. And I bet you if you talk to somebody at Disney, they would say that too. So, first of all, that's definitely why it's on there, because they love Toonami. If they could take their Disney show and put it on Toonami, let's be honest, they could. If they wanted to do a darker version of Marvel, now that they own Marvel, they would put it on Toonami. Well, let's not kid ourselves. You're not going to put it on Disney. You're going to put it on Marvel. You're going to put it on Toonami, on Adult Swim. So, but like Clone Wars to me, it just makes sense. I mean, it's obviously it's an American show. Toonami does American shows, and there's not that many American shows out there. And this one was a good one too. There were some episodes where I went, okay, you didn't need to play that one. You didn't need to do that.
We really need a Jar Jar Binks senator episode or whatever.
There's some like, they're using the term from like animes where they have the filler in there. There's some filler episodes in Star Wars they're actually cutting out, which is good. So, because the network's like, we really don't need those. You can move those to the side. We don't need those. So, I mean, I'm just really happy to see that on there, because I didn't get to see the whole series, and I really want to see the whole series,
Oh, yeah, it's, I mean, what the heck, I guess, is ice cream truck.
Ice cream!
People probably hear it. That's it. It's that time of year, people. And I believe, I don't know if it was your episode with George Christic or mine where he wanted to do an episode with a Ewok, and that basically, because
you have to listen to it. Yeah.
Every not every. I mean, Clone Wars. One thing I liked about them is that they kind of focus on the outer universe, the extended universe,
right? Yeah,
and I being a fan, like I was a Star Wars fan, and in the mid '90s when I was like in high school. Taking a subway to, growing up in New York City and taking when I was in high school, it was a friggin' hour and a half commute from home to my school. I used to get a lot of reading done, so I'd read all the Star Wars extended universe, novels, and it is, when they say extended universe, I mean, they get into, every character that's even seen in the background in any of the Star Wars movies has a story dedicated to them, or they're part of a race that gets touched on or whatever. And so reading all those extended universes, you would, and what I like about Clone Wars is that's what they're kind of doing. They focus on different races, people that you wouldn't, you would just see a character in the background. Well, now on this show, we're going to go to their whole planet. We're going to see how the whole planet looks like.
Right.
And George Christoff said that they were going to do an episode where they were looking for like a bounty hunter or whatever, someone of that kind of profession. And, it was going to be like a Mos Eisley or whatever. And they're looking and they're like, oh, the guy you're looking for is over there. He's the most ruthless killer in the universe. And you see like this big hulking monster guy, but then he gets out of the way and it's really an Ewok.
That's hilarious.
That's the person that they're looking for.
That's hilarious.
So you get this cute little teddy bear who's also a freaking a killer.
Yeah.
Which, but see, on a show like Clone Wars, they could make that happen. You can have a cute teddy bear.
Yeah.
That's a killer with a staff, with a pointed staff and taking out a room full of guys.
And, see the other thing to your point too, like there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there, and I'm sure a lot of them like this series.
Mm-hmm.
So to have it on Toonami, which I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like I said in the beginning, like Cartoon Network just did this, just took money and was like, here, just do whatever you want. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want Peter Cullen? Goes here. Take some money. Here. Oh, you want to do an hour? You want to get this movie? Yeah, here you go. Oh, you want Steve Bloom to do the voice of Tom? Here's some money. Here you go. But now it's more like, okay, this Toonami has to prove, which it has. It has proven that obviously now it needs to be on Adult Swim.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like Star Wars to me, and I point several times. I just made it on the last podcast that I did. I actually sent in a recording because I couldn't do the show. But my main point is there's a formula that we have to think about when it comes to not only Toonami but shows too. Nowadays, is the better the ratings, the more money you get. So the bigger budget you're going to get because of how well your ratings do. Mm-hmm. So, for example, a show like Star Wars, you bring Star Wars in. And I'm thinking, I don't think they really said what time it's going to be. Like, people have said 3 o'clock. I think it's going to be at 2:30 in the morning. But
wow.
You have Bleach, Naruto. I'm sorry, Uncut Naruto. One Piece. I have to say that because I don't want to get shot. Soul Eater. These are all popular animes. 2 o'clock. They just put Sword Art Online. They're the first ones with the English dub, might I add.
Oh, okay.
So that's a big thing, by the way. And then you put Star Wars. That puts you in a position to potentially get 6 shows with over 1 million viewers. That's very good. You want to see that with something like this. So for me, Star Wars makes sense in the sense that it's probably going to bring in more people, and it's also going to, increase the budget, and that's what I want to see. My website as a fan's website doesn't function if there's no Toonami. So my podcast doesn't function if I don't have Toonami. So, for me, it's exciting to see that happen. It kind of pisses me off when I see people go, fuck Star Wars, but I'm like, whatever. I'm like, whatever. You'll see that it's going to do well, and, I'll prove you all wrong, and whatever.
It's Star Wars. I don't know how anyone can. Okay, fine. Okay, you have a bad taste in your mouth from the prequels, and we all understand that. But now it's a different. Well, one thing I do have to say. Okay, so the prequels kind of gave us all these extra characters to kind of focus on, and that's all fine and good, and these are all parts of George Carlin. Lucas is it. I was just watching a George Carlin special, which is why it's in my head. But
drugs, man.
And then but you take a show. For all the goofiness in the movies of a Jar Jar Binks, or trade embargoes, and that's a, the Clone Wars took all these, for the lack of a better term, uninteresting characters and made them interesting. Not to mention introducing characters, Cad Bane and
it actually gave Anakin Skywalker like what? Because I think a big problem that a lot of people asked was from the original 3. Now they're episode 4, 5, and 6, obviously. But, from the original 3, I think always the question in their mind was, who is Anakin Skywalker? And, the first 3 episodes kind of... it was a quick 2 to 2.5 hour viewing of Anakin Skywalker. Well, that doesn't really give me the whole
Yeah.
story. Like what I mean, like between episode 2 and episode 3, which basically Clone Wars is, you know, what happened? How did he go from this to this? You know, and the miniseries kind of explained that a little bit. You know, because I think a lot of people were like, well, how's he a Jedi now? You know, how's he a Jedi now? Because he can't be a Jedi because he didn't have like a pupil. Well, now he has a pupil. Okay, so he has a pupil, but so he's a Jedi. He's a Jedi now. Okay, I'm confused. So you kind of had to explain all that. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if I was really like. I really wasn't happy that he kind of had like a Padawan because I was kind of like, I was like, I don't know, because like you didn't really kind of mention that at all. You didn't really say anything about it, and then you're gonna have to kill her.
I was just about to bring that up. I mean, you know, there has to be. You have to kill her. You have to. There has to be a death of Ashoka. Ashoka.
Yeah.
Ashoka has to die. And you know, I know she's become a beloved character. You know, I mean, you know, and it's kind of, you know, we all know she's gonna die. Like,
oh yeah, obviously. It was the same thing with Samuel L. Jackson's character. You knew he was gonna die. You just didn't know how or when.
Yeah.
And you know, the way that he died, it was kind of like. I was like, it should have been a little bit better than that. If I were Samuel L. Jackson,
out of a window. He's a Jedi. You know
I know, like.
Meanwhile, earlier in the movie, Anakin's jumping out of freaking cars, moving or whatever.
Yeah, like I almost felt like him being a Jedi Master was just like you should have been able to like come up with some kind of power where you could have gripped something and saved yourself.
Yeah, you know, people of, you know, because I mean, I'm assuming. Even at the very least, he's probably just a teeny tiny bit less powerful than Yoda. But if Yoda's throwing freaking, you know, parts of the Senate at Palpatine, or Palpatine's using part of the Senate throwing them at Yoda, you know, you would think being thrown out of a window wouldn't be that big a freaking deal.
Right.
You know, it was power, whatever.
It was, oh god,
it was so forced. I mean, you know, like I said, I mean, they're there. We have to deal with them. That being said, and much like I said, like watching the Avengers and then watching Captain America and Thor afterwards.
Yeah,
watching the Clone Wars makes you kind of appreciate the prequels a little bit more. I mean, yes, okay, you know, Chris, what the hell's his name? The guy who played Anakin, the older one. You know, he was a horrible actor. You know what I'm saying? Natalie.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, you know, they cut, you know, mannequin, you know, Skywalker, where his stiff acting and you know, absolutely no chemistry with, you know, Padme and you know, it was kind of forced. I mean, you know, George Lucas trying to force this love story down our throats and everything like that. But you know, once you watch the Clone Wars, it kind of makes you appreciate a little more. I mean, once you get a bigger picture and you realize, okay, this is just a piece of the puzzle, you know, and
right.
You know, and you can get a little more deeper into it, like a show like Clone Wars. It just, you know, it's kind of not that it justifies the the prequels,
right.
But you know, and I'm, you know, I am so excited for Episode 7, like, which coincidentally also is 2015, like 2015 that summer. See, now if we could get to Comic-Con of 2014, where they're planning for 2015 with Avengers 2, Batman vs Superman, Star Wars Episode 7, that is going to be the Comic-Con to go to. That is going to be, oh my dear Lord, it's going to be, I can't even, I didn't want to.
Well, I mean, like, there's one episode of Clone Wars that comes in. I think it was like 2 or 3 episodes together. You have to watch them all. Mm-hmm. Where, and I can't think of the name of the episode, but basically they found out the foundation of the Force. Mm-hmm. There was the father, and then there was the son, which was the evil one, and the daughter was the light side.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of, going through that, you saw Anakin Skywalker go into this transition of Darth Vader. I don't know if you remember that episode.
Are you talking the miniseries or
the Clone Wars?
I haven't watched like the last season of the Clone Wars, so I've been like,
I don't remember what season it's in.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been, it's either season 3 or 4, I think. But basically, it was so interesting. Like that right there, like that part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not only was it dark that one, but
Mm-hmm.
like it kind of gave a little bit more like fuel to why he became like Darth Vader. Like they actually suppressed it, so he forgot. All of them forgot about what happened there. The one guy like made him forget.
Oh, okay. No, I think I've seen that episode. Yeah. The son and the yeah, okay. And it kind of had like the Sith. I don't know. They had like red eyes or something like that. Or maybe
Yeah.
I did see.
And then I think the episode after that, the Sith guy, the guy that was on the dark side, went and did something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Like I'd have to look back, but like that right there was kind of one of those episodes where I went, okay, this is actually making Clone Wars into something viable, something that people need to come and watch because it is kind of showing things. Like the whole Darth Maul thing was an attraction too. Like,
oh yeah,
why is he back? Wait a minute, he killed him.
Yeah.
What? How is he back? No, he can't be back. And then, like, I didn't see the last season. I want to see it so badly, but I'm going to wait for Toonami because I always wait for the shows for Toonami. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But, like, I can't wait to see, like, because I guess there's a big fight scene with Darth Sidious and Darth Maul and the other guy. I can't think of what his name is.
Dooku? Count Dooku?
No, not Count Dooku. The other...
Or Darth Maul's brother? Or?
Yeah, Darth Maul's brother. Yeah. Like, they all three of them are...
Savage Opress.
Savage, yeah.
Savage Opress. But they pronounce it Savage.
So, I can't wait to see that, because I want to see that battle. And somebody will probably be like, oh, I can tell you all about it, Paul. No, I don't need to know about it. But, like, that right there establishes it. Like, and I'm kind of interested to see... Because I believe the same guy that directed Clone Wars is actually doing, and we'll talk about this, Star Wars Rebels, which was announced 2 weekends ago.
Oh.
I don't know if you heard about that.
No, that's. I mean, I know they were doing one called like 1313 or something like that, but that's a live action show.
It's called I don't know if they're still doing that.
Oh, okay. Or I mean,
I know what you're talking about, but that's exactly what it is. I think because for the longest time, what they were talking about is they were going to do Clone, and then they were going to do a live action one that was between Episode 3 and Episode 4.
Okay.
And it never happened. The live action one just never came to fruition. And now all of a sudden, like, it's looking like Star Wars Rebels, which is going to be on Disney. I don't know if I like that, but it's supposed to take place between 3 and 4. And they've actually had art out on it, and it looks like it could be something viable. But
is this live action?
It's
or is it?
It's CGI, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So it should be interesting to see how that comes out, because I'm interested to see how it all just comes together.
And the guy that directed most of the Clone Wars, and I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he always tends to wear like an Indiana Jones style hat.
Yeah. I think he's doing Star Wars Rebels. I could be wrong, but I believe I saw something.
Or at least
about
he's got to be at least part of.
Oh
the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. And I can't see why like he wouldn't, be a part of that at all.
Yeah.
So.
And if he's in it, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love the Clone Wars. I mean, the only reason I haven't really watched the last season is because I just didn't have cable. That was the only reason I've been moving around so much.
See, one of the things that bothers me about, like, for example, Marvel, and I guess I could say some of the, I mean, well, DC's still kind of Cartoon Network, like, that's kind of like their stronghold, because obviously they're all related, because, whatever. But, I've always wanted to see, like, something along those lines be on Toonami. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen Superman on Toonami, we've seen Batman on Toonami. I'd like to see some kind of Marvel on Toonami. Mm-hmm. I'd like to, one thing that we've been talking about kind of is, like, how, we're on Adult Swim, why not do a darker version of some of these? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, bring that to the forefront, because, the problem these days is American cartoons are... There's nothing really out there now. It's just it's dry. It's a dry ground. And if you try to go back and get, like, for example, the original Transformers or the original Thundercats, those aren't HD. You can't just throw them on an HD channel and be like, oh, it's good. No, you can't do that. So I would really love to see, like, something from, like, especially Marvel, because I think Marvel deserves to be on Toonami too. I'd like to see something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, my only thing is, and just totally thinking of the politics game, is that if Toonami and DC kind of have a relationship, Marvel being owned by Disney,
right,
would kind of, I mean, just from a purely politics point of view, I mean, the fans suffer, but,
definitely.
Star Wars Rebels being on a Disney channel or on an ABC-owned network, makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And oh my god, I mean, just totally speculating, but like if they had it on ABC along with Marvel's Shield, you know, the
Oh,
Shield
yeah,
series
yeah,
that they're talking
definitely,
about.
yeah.
Oh my, you know what I'm saying? You have Nerdvana, you know, I mean, you put it on, and you know, it's put it on like on a Thursday night or something. They own, Thursday night's pretty much a powerful night. If you put those two shows on a Thursday night, they would own. You know, you'd have all the nerds instead of freaking, American Idol and.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. Like, if you think about it, ABC back in the day had Lois and Clark, which was a DC show.
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, well, you did it back in the day. You can't do it this way. And come on, Toonami's like the big avenue now for.
Oh yeah, and I would love to see it happen. And then maybe something original. Like I mean, I don't know if that's what you were trying to say. Like, give us something action packed. I mean, there's a lot of good cartoons. I mean, is it the Hub? I always catch them on but
it is on Hub. I know what you're talking about.
Well, like Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh my god, it's such a good cartoon. And I like the fact that they're taking, they take a cartoon and it's hip. That show is hip. A kid who's been, born and raised with the internet in their lives, can watch that kind of cartoon,
right?
And not that, and what I like is that they're not trying too hard to be hip. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you throw in a couple
exactly.
references here and there. You break the fourth wall, and and on top of an interesting, entertaining show. I want more of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, give us something original. I mean, not that, don't get me wrong. I love Spider-Man. I love Batman. I would love, that those are great properties. But, give us another symbiotic Titan, where someone's creating their own universe,
We're working on a season 2 of that, don't worry.
And Generator X, Man of Action, who are also the same people behind Ultimate Spider-Man.
I think they were trying, like Cartoon Network was trying to do that with, with Symbiotic Titan, because that is a Cartoon Network production. Mm-hmm. But they were also trying to do that with Ben 10. And Ben 10 has been very successful with them. They've spin it off, like...
Yeah, how many different...
50 goddamn times. So, I mean, obviously, it's working for them. So, I mean... I don't know. I would just like to. I'd like to see more like Marvel. I want to see more Marvel out there instead of just being like, "Hey, we're gonna bury this on Disney XD." Yeah, that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry.
I mean, I know recently they had like the Iron Man Extremis, Wolverine. Was it Wolverine in the X-Men, or I know they had some sort of anime style X-Men.
There was a Wolverine anime. I know there was a Wolverine anime. There was actually, I found the other day, there was an Iron Man anime. I think there was a Batman one at one point, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look. But
I mean, I know that I've seen recently the Iron Man and the Wolverine. I don't know what channel that it's on. I don't know if it was. I mean, because honestly, I've seen them on Netflix, but I know they're on. They have some sort. They were on some channel.
Maybe the Funimation channel.
Oh.
Well, Funimation is anime, but I don't know if they would have the rights necessarily to do that because they don't. I don't think they have. I have to look into that because Funimation being like the big distributor of anime here in the United States, they kind of have everything almost. So it's kind of like they probably do, but I gotta look, kind of thing.
All your anime belong to us.
Yes.
We've hit past the hour mark. I'm pretty sure we could sit here and talk another hour of stuff like this. But before we totally alienate the whole, I think we should just wrap it up. But I mean, please come back and we'll do some more shows.
We'll definitely
like
do
this
some more shows, yes.
And basically, let me just wrap up all my stuff, and then you could pimp out your show.
I like to pimp.
We can be found pretty much. You can find all the links at twostrangersonepodcast.com. That's where you'll find the links to everything. I guess first, which I haven't even gone on to yet because I've just been so incredibly busy, my eBay page, I'm selling comic books, video games, DVDs, all stuff goes to support the show. You can purchase my book, Double Jackpot, at doublejackpot.us. You can find the links there on twostrangersonepodcast.com. You could like us on Facebook, facebook.com/twostrangersonepodcast. Hover over the like button, click show in news feed. Unfortunately, not all the people who like us get all our updates, and that's just a Facebook thing. It has nothing to do with us. On iTunes, you can find us, just go to iTunes in the upper right corner. You see the little tab that says podcasts. You can search for Two Strangers, One Podcast. You'll see the beautiful red, white, and blue logo. If you don't have an Android, if you don't have an iPhone, iPad, iPod, you could also find us on Stitcher, which is an app for Android devices, Android tablets, Android phones. STITCHER, the Stitcher app. Pretty much, you guys are on Stitcher also, right? Because I think I think the last time I saw you,
we were trying to get something, but it never came about. So we got to actually try to do that.
So hopefully soon you'll be able to find it. Toonami
collaboration.
The Toonami Faithful. Hopefully they'll be on Stitcher also, but you guys are definitely on iTunes.
Yes, definitely.
And let me see. I'm pretty much that's everything. Facebook, Stitcher. Share us with your friends. Check out all the other shows in our network, and I will give a shout out to our boys Living Lame Podcast Entertainment. You can find all their stuff at Living Lame Podcast Entertainment. There's no G in Living Lame, not Living Lame. Podcast Entertainment, The Breakdown, The Fox Den, Living Lame. They're doing another show now. It's about serial killers, but that's a whole other.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they started. I haven't had a chance to listen to that one yet. But a big shout out to Cord, Christian, Dwight, Seth, Nick, all the other guys on the West Coast. What's up, fellas? I know I have all this stuff kind of in my head. If you want to give us a rundown where to find Toonami Faithful.
Well, the best place to find us is podcast.toonamifaithful.com. You can find our Facebook and that on there, as well as the Twitter page. We kind of merged with, there was another podcast called the Unofficial Toonami Podcast. We merged with them. Mm-hmm. So their Twitter page is ours, which is at Toonami Podcast. So you can find us there. If you guys are at Otakon, if any of you guys do go to some of these anime cons, you're down in Maryland at Otakon, say hello to Jose and Jim. They're down there as well. So I know they're having some kind of meetup party. If you go to the website, which is the most important thing I can plug, is ToonamiFaithful.com. We are the #1 fan site. Everything Toonami. We give you the ratings. We give you what's trending. We give you all the promos every single week. We try to write articles as much as possible. And we give you like a rundown of how Toonami is doing over the past year. And which, by the way, those of you that do listen to Toonami, we are doing extremely well. And I thank all of you for watching, because you make my fan site good and you help out the guys at Toonami. So that's it.
We certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace.
Bye.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled C-O-L-O-N.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea, man.
Is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show. I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.